Hello, am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, all dear participants, good afternoon, all. Good afternoon, sir. Okay, we are fortunate that we are having today with us Dr. Govind Gupta, sir. Dr. Govind Gupta currently is working as an assistant professor in Information Technology Department for National Institute of Technology, Raipur. He has a, he has taken a keen interest in various areas like design and analysis of algorithms, computer networks, blockchain networks, network security, Internet of Things, and much more. He has published over dozens of peer-reviewed articles in journals and various conferences. He has also delivered plenty of expert lectures in various FDPs arranged by various institutes on plenty of areas. So we are having all-rounder personality amongst us. So once again, I heartily welcome Dr. Govind Gupta, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thanks for nice introduction. So, may I audible to all?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You can proceed, sir. Yeah.
Okay. So, the today's topic, the title of talk is Hyperledger Fabric Framework. So, can you please mute your mic?
Yes, sir.
All.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. So, the today's topic of talk is Hyperledger Fabric Framework, and basically, this framework is designed by IBM, and the main purpose of this framework is to design and develop enterprise blockchain. So earlier we have perceived about some public blockchain like the Bitcoin based system or Ethereum. Okay, since in the past 3 to 4 years, the researcher is looking for the application of blockchain technology, except the uh, financial sector. Like if you want to uh, apply the blockchain technology in the IoT, in the health sector, in the government transaction, in the asset management, in the registry of the land. So in the past 3 to 4 years, we have perceived a lot of application apart from the financial sector. So in order to realize blockchain based application for the non-financial sector, industry is looking for some unified framework which facilitate the design and development of enterprise blockchain. Means it is private to a organization. Okay. So in this talk, I'll first introduce what is the Hyperledger project. Okay, and then within the Hyperledger project, one of the project is the Hyperledger Fabric. So we will study in detail what is the architecture of Hyperledger Fabric framework. Okay, how the transaction flow. Okay, what are the different entity involved, how they interact to each other. Okay, and overall how the Hyperledger Fabric uh, execute the transaction, how the distributed ledgers interact to each other, okay, and how the blocks stored, and what are the different entity involved. And in any blockchain infrastructure, the functionality is totally depend upon the smart contract. So here in the Hyperledger Fabric, the smart contract is known as the chain code. So earlier in the public blockchain, we are not much concerned about the security of the smart contract. Okay, we are only the concern about the security of the transaction data. Okay. However, if any attacker try to compromise our smart contract, then they can easily hijack whole process. Even though they can also modify the block uh, content of block. Okay, so this Hyperledger Fabric come up with the concept of the chain code. Chain code is nothing but a secure uh, a package of the smart contract. Now we will study in detail what are the life cycle of Fabric chain code. Okay, and then I'll discuss some case how to design the smart contract for the Hyperledger Fabric. A small demo. So in 2015, a project is started by the Linux Foundation. Okay, and the name of project is called the Hyperledger. Okay, and this is a umbrella project, and its motto is to develop a open source framework in order to facilitate the design and development of enterprise blockchain. So since it is an umbrella project, this Linux Foundation has invited many players all over the globe to participate in his project, okay, and develop their own open source ecosystem, okay, for their own requirement. Okay. So basically, the main purpose is to facilitate a common framework in order to facilitate the cross industry interaction through the blockchain network. Okay, so a lot of companies involved in this Hyperledger project, and they make a collaboration between 2 or 3 companies among all the invited organization, and they try to incorporate their own requirement in order to develop their own framework. So blockchain technology has a various application in different domain, and different domain has a different requirement. Okay. So in order to facilitate a different project was built by the different organization. Okay, and one of the project which is involved the 2 company IBM and the digital asset, and the name of project was Hyperledger Fabric. So today's talk is totally focused on the Hyperledger Fabric. However, the main vision of Hyperledger project was to provide robust, efficient standard for blockchain ledger technology to facilitate mainstream commercial adoption. Okay, so basically it is having some, in order to make uh, efficient and flexible interoperability among the blockchain network of the different private player, they come up with the idea of we should adopt modular uh, design, okay, uh, approach for designing the framework. Okay, and we have to adopt some open source API. Okay, so anyone can, if anyone know the Java, then they can develop their using the Java. Either if they are comfortable in the JavaScript, then they are providing the API to write their smart contract in JavaScript. Either if they are interested in some Python, then they can use the Python also. Okay, so uh, in overall, we can say Hyperledger project is an umbrella strategy of Hyperledger to incubate and promote a range of business blockchain technology, framework, libraries, interface, and application. Okay, so here is a list of some popular project developed under the umbrella of Hyperledger project, and these product name is the Hyperledger Bureau. Okay, uh, this project is providing a permission smart contract uh, framework. This is developed over the existing Ethereum virtual machine. Okay. Now the second one is Hyperledger Fabric. It come up with the idea is to design and develop private enterprise blockchain. Okay, we will study in detail about this Hyperledger for Fabric. Similarly, there are many other projects was developed by the different player under the umbrella of this. Apart from this, some auxiliary tool is also developed by the different group of organization in order to facilitate the development, in order to facilitate the visualization of the transaction. Okay, all that. So our main focus is the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so Hyperledger Fabric is a enterprise blockchain platform. Okay, and it is developed for the business applications. Okay, so the uh, uh, main beauty of blockchain is to provide the secure transaction among the untrusted party. And within a business, there are various players. Among the business, there are various players. A business can't able to make a trust among the other entity. So in order to perform any transaction among the untrusted parties, okay, how to incorporate blockchain, okay, that is the main motto of the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so it provides real value in a business network composed of participating organization who by nature do not trust each other. If there is a trust, then there is no need to use the blockchain. If there is a untrusted parties, then blockchain provide the trusted transaction. Okay, so the first project of Hyperledger, which is contributed by mainly IBM and Digital Asset, okay, and they come up with the idea that is called the Hyperledger Fabric. And the main feature of Hyperledger Fabric was to provide the private and permission-based blockchain. So private means it is private to organization. Okay, not all users allowed to participate in the blockchain. Okay, just like in the Ethereum, if you have a wallet, if you have a registered wallet, then you can participate in Ethereum network. Okay, however, in the Hyperledger Fabric, it come up with the certificate authority and also a membership service frame modules which issue the certificate for using the private blockchain. Okay, uh, this developed by using the pluggable technology. So what is the pluggable technology? Suppose presently you are using some particular consensus algorithm X, and maybe after 1 or 2 years, if you want to modify the consensus algorithm, okay, you can easily replace it just like in plug and play way. Okay, in a socket you are just plugging or playing. Okay, in the same way you can switch the different consensus mechanism over the Hyperledger Fabric. Other is it is come up with the identity management. So since it is designed for a private enterprise blockchain, okay, it come up with the membership identity modules which issue the identity to all the participant of the network. Okay, and a legitimate participant which is having a, registered certificate of using the private Hyperledger Fabric blockchain network can allow to participate in the transaction. Okay, now the main features adopted in the design is the 3-1. It adopted the modular architecture. So different modules of this framework is not cohesively coupled. They are lightly coupled. So one module can be replaced by the new features easily. Okay. Other approach adopted is the pluggable implementation. So you can easily replace the old algorithm by the new algorithm through the flexible API. And third one is the very beauty. That is the beauty of this Hyperledger Fabric is the container technology. It uses a container technology for the deployment of the logic, okay, of the framework. Okay, so what is the container technology? So generally in the past 2 years software industry is using the Docker container technology for migrating the software from one system to another. So earlier what happened? Earlier suppose a development team is developing the software, okay, and for the testing they are transferring the whole software to the testing team. Now in during the development of the software there are different dependency, and all dependencies are resolved by the development team, Okay, and when they are transferring the software to the testing team again try to resolve all the dependency according to their hardwares. Okay, so in order to bridge that gap, okay, the industry is using the container technology, and one of the famous software which provide the container is the Docker. Okay, so uh, we are using the Docker, okay, for deploying, okay, or for migrating the whole software from one system to another. Docker also provide the a robust layer of the security. Okay, only a, a, a legitimate user to the Docker allow to execute their transaction. So earlier, what happened without Docker technology? If any malicious user can compromise your hardware, okay, can able to disturb your runtime environment. So since your whole Hyperledger fabric run within the Docker and your runtime environment is within the Docker. Okay, so not this Docker technology just prevent the intrusion within the runtime environment. Okay, so we can prevent the malicious use of the transaction or intrusion. Uh, so in this way, with help of Hyperledger Fabric platform, we can develop a distributed ledger technology. Okay, with the enterprise grade solutions. Okay, now it is a permissioned blockchain network. It means it does not allow just anyone to get an entry. Okay, only a legitimate user is allowed to access uh, and participate in the transaction. Okay, and it also offers the data privacy. Okay, and privacy of your smart contract also. Now, Hyperledger is generally developed in the Go language. Go language is the development of the Google. Okay, so whole architecture of the Hyperledger fabric uh, developed using the Go language. Okay, in this smart contract is called the chain code. Chain code is allowed to write. You can write into the uh, three language. You can write the chain code either in the Go language or the JavaScript. Okay, it support the Node.js. Okay, and also the Java. So three language is supported by the Hyperledger Fabric in order to develop your own chain code. Yeah, you can say smart contract. Okay. Uh, it provides the basically the four features. It provides the confidentiality. Only the legitimate user is allowed to participate in the transaction. So whole confidentiality to the transaction as well as the confidentiality to the different channels, different peers. So earlier what happened in the Ethereum? In Ethereum, any legitimate user with the legitimate wallet can participate in the blockchain network. Okay. However, in Hyperledger Fabric, within a blockchain network, you can make a number of confidential subnetwork. Okay. So why this feature is provided? Because you know, in the business organization, there are different uh, uh, employee is having a different role. Okay, and there are some high authorities is having some other confidential transaction which they do not allow to visible to the some other employee. Okay, so in order to facilitate confidential transaction among a subset of users, that can easily be facilitated within the Hyperledger Fabric with the concept of a confidential channel. So I'll discuss in detail what is the concept of channel. So uh, uh, a confidential channel is made among the some participant only. Suppose there are 3 users and they are participating in a transaction. So if any things done by these participants over the transaction, these transactions are visible to all 3 ABC. But suppose there is a scenario where A and C want to do some transaction and they do not want to visibility of this transaction by the B. So Hyperledger Fabric allowed to create a separate channel, okay, and attach this separate channel only to A and C. So whatever the transaction happened through this channel is not visible to B. So this kind of facility is also provided in the Hyperledger Fabric. This is resilient, okay. It provide since it is developed over the Docker technology, okay. In any it can restore after the fault if any fault occurs, okay, within the network. It provides the flexibility. Any number of participant or channel you can create, okay, within the pair of participant, multiple channels may be formed, okay. Different chain code software can be deployed, okay. It is not strict to some particular. So since it is developed using the plug and play technology, uh, suppose presently you are using the smart contract X and after 6 months your governing body going to decide the smart contract, okay, then they can easily replace the smart contract, old smart contract by the new one, okay. So due to the plug and play technology, they have easily provided flexibility. Since modular architecture is adopted by the Hyperledger Fabric, okay, both horizontal scalability is provided by the Hyperledger Fabric. Any number of participants you can add, or if they have also provide the different type of peers. So one of the peer is called the anchor peer. I'll discuss in detail in the coming PPT. Through the anchor peer, it provides a separate interface for connecting to the blockchain network of another organization. So suppose this is the blockchain network of organization 1, okay, and this is the blockchain network of organization 2, okay. So this network is mostly used by all employee of the organization, okay, and this is used by all employee of the organization 2. But suppose there is some particular department of one organization want to make a transaction with some particular uh, uh, organization of another uh, department, okay. So inter organizational uh, transaction through the blockchain is also possible in Hyperledger Fabric by using the anchor peer, okay. So the same, there is no need to deploy a different blockchain network for the inter-organizational transaction, okay. So both for the intra transaction as well as the inter transaction, both supported by the Hyperledger Fabric. So generally Docker technology is used for facilitating the uh, 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 secure runtime environment for the execution of the transaction. So these are the 4 characteristics of the Hyperledger Fabric. The first one is it is a permissioned network, okay. So it is a permission network means it provide the membership services to all the participant, okay, and only enrolled registered participant are allowed to access the network, okay. Not outsider of any users without the credential is not allowed to access the network, okay. Other is the confidentiality. So I'll discuss in since we are using the Docker technology, so secure runtime environment is provided for executing the transaction. Also, different certificate authority is also supported by the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so suppose if you are using some third party certificate authority, this Hyperledger Fabric providing a flexible API in order to incorporate the third party certificate authority to your existing blockchain network. Okay, the third property is it does not provide the concept of cryptocurrency. Okay, so since this is designed for the development of, yes,
Hello. Uh,
Ahmad Ali, please.
yeah. Ahmad Ali,
uh,
will you please turn off? Yeah. And participant requested, please mute your mic. Okay, sir. You can proceed.
so since just like in the Bitcoin and Ethereum, both come up with the cryptocurrency. And why they come up with the cryptocurrency? Because they are providing some incentive to the peer. So whole blockchain network is a peer-to-peer network. And in order to maintain the transaction and in order to perform the transaction, the different peers may be provided. So since Hyperledger Fabric is designed for the enterprise businesses, and within the enterprise businesses do not require to pay incentive to their employee, okay, if they are going to participate in the transaction. Okay, so that's why no cryptocurrency concept is provided. So it does not require mining, okay, and also expensive computation. However, in the Ethereum and Bitcoin, since P2P network we are using, so any volunteer can participate in the mining process. So since they are participating in the mining process, uh, they are spending their huge computation and energy in the mining. So after successful uh, uh, mining, the system is providing some cryptocurrency. Okay, so since in the Hyperledger Fabric, it is designed for the enterprise blockchain, and the businesses does not need to provide the separate incentive to their employee for performing the transaction or performing the any kind of uh, participation. Okay, so that's why cryptocurrency concept is not given in the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, it is uh, programmable in sense the whole contract can be write uh, 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 in a programming languages. Okay, and it can automate the transaction process between the different entity. Okay, so whole smart contract logic code is automated, okay, and verify the transaction. So there are four, these are the four main characteristics. uh, this I have already discussed you the how we achieve the confidentiality. So suppose there are multiple channels you can create among the parties in order to facilitate the confidential transaction. Okay, uh, cryptocurrency is not uh, uh, provided, okay, because your organization does not need to pay incentive, okay, for running the operation because it is private to the organization. Okay, it is programmable. You can develop your own chain code or smart contract within the different languages and which automate the whole process. So here is a comparative study of the Ethereum and Hyperledger Fabric. So generally Ethereum is for the public blockchain network. There are some features are also nowadays available. You can make a private blockchain using the Ethereum, but here I'm comparing the public Ethereum with the Hyperledger Fabric. So the node which is going to participate in the transaction, that in the Ethereum it is called the Ethereum client. In the Hyperledger Fabric, we are providing not a common role, we are providing different roles. So in Ethereum, all client, whatever their status, okay, are having the same role, client. Okay. However, in the Hyperledger Fabric, since it is designed for the enterprises, and within the enterprises there are different employees. There are some manager, coordinator. Suppose in the educational institute there is a director, dean, head of department, associate professor, professor, and different employee having a different credential for accessing the network. So here different peers are provided, and the different orderers are there, okay, and their role is maybe different. Okay, so I'll discuss in detail the all different kind of peers in the Hyperledger Fabric. uh, ledger ledger is your transaction data which is scattered among all the nodes, okay, in the Ethereum. Okay, however, in the Hyperledger Fabric, since we use the term peer, so it is kept in the peers. Okay, now main building block of Ethereum is it goes through the mining process. Okay, and then they going to commit the transaction within the distributed ledger. Okay, through the blockchain, chain of block. Here orderer mechanism is used. So since before committing the transaction, here we use the mining, okay, some sort of computation, okay, and if that puzzle is solved, then mining is committed, transaction is committed. In Hyperledger Fabric, we are using the three-step process, okay, endorser, ordering process, and then final commit. Okay, so I'll discuss in detail what is the ordering process. Okay, similarly, the consensus mechanism is also here, where consensus is done by the orderer node here. Okay, not all node initiate the consensus. Okay, there is no cryptocurrency is applicable in the Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, uh, uh, here Ethereum virtual machine on each node is used for the executing the smart contract. Okay, in the Hyperledger Fabric, within the container, your runtime environment is facilitate to execute the uh, uh, smart contract, and which is initiated by the only the endorsing peer. Not all peers participating in execution of a smart contract. Only the endorsed peer is may participate in the execution of a smart contract. Uh, uh, in order to use the Hyperledger Fabric, you do not need to learn the new language. Okay, if you know the Java, you can develop the smart contract using the Java. If you know the Node.js or JavaScript, okay, it is supported. And also, since Fabric is developed using the Go language, so by default, a smart contract can be written in the Go. Okay. Some auxiliary SDK is also in future they are planning to incorporate. Okay. Now, what is the main architecture and how the different modules of the Fabric is uh, organized? So basically, in the Hyperledger Fabric, your since they are using the modular mechanism for organizing the different modules, so mainly three modules are there: membership services module, blockchain services, and the chain code. So the main purpose of this is to facilitate the how to we deploy the blockchain and how the different entity of the blockchain are going to interact to each other. Okay, so that is the main purpose. The main objective of membership services is to provide the confidential and private services. So there is a registration module which facilitates the registration of participant. Okay, once registration is done, then since registration has multiple modules uh, like registration authority, which is responsible for registering the any employee of the organization. So services that authenticate users, okay, and assess the identity of Fabric participant for for issuance of the certificate. So once a participant registered to the authority, this RA issue a certificate. Okay. So one certificate is issued by the registration authority. Of any participant can enroll through the enroll certificate authority. Okay. So if enrollment is successfully happened, then only a participant, a user can participate in the blockchain network. Okay. Now, some additional features is also provided in the blockchain network. So it in order to facilitate the transport layer security. Okay, so TLS certificate is also supported by the Fabric. Okay, so since we are realizing the blockchain using the P2P network, so sometimes what happen, any malicious user can uh, intercept your transport layer traffic. So in order to make a secure uh, P2P connection, a TLS certificate is used. So this is a separate module is given. Okay, and also in order to secure the transaction, a transaction certificate authority uh, is responsible for issuing the certificate for secure transaction. Okay, so these are the part of your first module, that is called the membership module. Now, the middle one is the responsible for how to deploy and manage the network. Okay, because you know this is a one-time task. Once you have deployed, okay, then there is a need of management of blockchain network. So since blockchain network is realized over the P2P concept, so any peer can join or leave the network. Okay, so how to manage the uh, your distributed ledger among the peers? Okay, how to store the your ledger information? Which protocol we have to deploy in order to smooth coordination among the peers? So P2P protocol module facilitate the connection among the peers. Okay, of infrastructure. Okay, consensus manager, this is uh, facilitate how to design the consensus algorithm which make an agreement among the participant to uh, to perform the final commit over the transaction. Okay, and how to uh, store distribute the ledger. Okay, and which storage technology is used for storing the ledger at the peer system. Okay. So these are the some services of the blockchain uh, over the uh, Fabric. So what happened in the consensus manager? So since your Fabric is designed based on the pluggable technology, so consensus algorithm is also pluggable. So you can modify according to your need. Okay. So there is a no restriction. You have to use a particular consensus algorithm for this Fabric. Okay. Any organization can develop their own consensus algorithm or can use a third party consensus algorithm. uh, how the consensus happen in the Fabric? So it is a not a one step process, just like in the Ethereum. We are going through the mining process and then we commit. uh, Here in the Hyperledger Fabric, it is made up of the three distinct state. Okay, endorsement, ordering, and validation and commitment. So there are three steps any transaction need to go through from the left to right in order to made a consensus. Okay. So the main objective of consensus is to reach a common point agreement. Okay, such that we perform the final commit of the transaction, and the final commit of the transaction must be added to the ledger in the form of block, and the block is added to the existing blockchain. Okay. So the consensus is the step before performing the final commit. Okay, so since uh, no cryptocurrency concept is provided. Okay, so in order to perform the a robust consensus, a three-step is given. So what happened in the endorsement? In the endorsement, there is a authority which first verify the participants. So just like suppose in a educational institute, if suppose a faculty want to perform some transaction, want some permission. Okay, so suppose if you want to send the some permission letter, application letter to the director. So first, what you do? First, you forwarded your application by your head of department. Okay, so your head of department is going to endorse you. Okay, so in the same manner, there is an endorsing peer first performing the endorsement, and the objective of endorsement is to initial verification of the participant. Means participant is legitimate, participant is carrying the legitimate certificate authority, what kind of permission the participants allow, okay, for using the network. Okay, once endorsement is done, okay, then endorsed uh, uh, state transaction can participate in the ordering process. The main function of the ordering process is to initiate the consensus. Okay, so consensus is not done by the endorser, it is initiated by the ordering process. Okay, so what happened, it just order the all the transaction endorsed by of the endorsed peer. Okay, and then distribute among the committing peers. All the committing peers verify it, and then finally they validate the transaction, and then this validated transaction is allowed to uh, store in the ledger in the form of block. Okay, so other is the distributed ledger. So Hyperledger Fabric come up with the concept that is called the word state. Okay, so what is the word state? So before storing the your transaction in the form of ledger to the block, okay, your transaction is information is stored in a word state, and word state is nothing but a database that is based on the key value pair. Okay, so since in order to provide the resilient operation, okay, all the uh, transaction state and network state is maintained by a global database that is called the word state. Okay, so any peers can visualize, can view the what is the status of transaction through the word state, and the status of the state of the word state database and your distributed ledger, uh, which is committed to the within the blockchain, okay, must be identical. Okay, so blockchain is simply a linked list of block. Word ledger is a key value database. Okay, so why key value database is used in word in order to realize the word state? Because we need a fast transaction. Okay, so whole transaction is mapped by using the key value. Okay, just like we are using in the map reduce programming in the big data processing. Okay, so what happened in the map reduce programming, we are transforming the data into the key value pair, and once we transform our data into the key value pair with the help of key, we can easily extract our data. Okay, so that's why key value pairs database is used, and mainly they have used the CouchDB and LabelDB. uh, दिख नहीं रहा है आप लोगों को. Yes, so now this word state database is used by the smart contract also to store the relevant state during the execution of the transaction. Okay, and your blockchain consists of the block that contain transaction. However, these transaction contain the chain code. Okay, so both your transaction associated with the chain code. Once chain code verify, okay, it is allowed to do the final commit within the block. Now the P2P protocol, so since your blockchain network is based on the P2P network, this module provide different uh, uh, protocols, how the different peers make a connection, TCP connection, okay, and how they get the TLS certificate in order to perform the secure transaction. Okay, so transaction base is generally divided into the two types. Okay, so in your whole blockchain network, two type of transaction is happening. One is the deployment transaction. Okay, means if a peer suppose join to the existing blockchain network, so first they made a transaction for joining the network. Okay, so that is the deployment transaction, and other is the suppose a peer want to perform some query. Okay, if they want to know about the transaction state, yes, they want to add some transaction or update transaction. So invocation transaction is used for performing the different kind of queries over, okay, in the form of transaction. Okay, so deployment transaction generally used to deploy new chain code to the ledger. Okay, and also call the different functions, okay, from the smart contract. Okay, and this transaction is to maybe can be public. Okay, because of peers if going to participate to the network, so all peer may also know their availability. Okay, but it may be confidential. Okay, uh, so it depend upon the thoroughly what kind of certificate this peer is having. Okay, so it may be if it is available to the all participant, or it is hide by the some set of participant. Okay. Now in the invocation transaction, total confidential transaction is allowed in, okay, in order to perform the query. Okay, and totally depend upon the certificate issued to the participant. And the ledger storage is done by the high performance database like the CouchDB. So Couch uh, CouchDB is used, and the LabelDB. These two are the database. They are based on the key value pair. So basically, these two are used in order to maintain the ledger. So last is the chain code services. So in the chain code services, since your whole chain code is executed within the container Docker, okay, and Docker is providing a secure runtime environment for the execution of the chain code. Okay, so the whole uh, uh, auxiliary dependency all are available within the Docker. Okay, so suppose in your system, in your personal computer, you are running some transaction within the Docker, and you are also running some additional uh, process. Okay, so suppose process P1 is executing within the Docker, okay, and process P2 is executing in another Docker image, okay, and suppose some other processes are running without Docker. Okay, so the main purpose of container technology is to secure the runtime resources engaged in the runtime uh, uh, for supporting the runtime environment for the P1 is not going to share with the resources with this or this or this. So since the resources is not allowed to share with the some other processes, okay, then if any malicious process, if they try to disturb the runtime environment of the transaction block fabric transaction, okay, they can easily be protected, and this prevention is done by the Docker, a third party packages that is called the container technology Docker. Okay, so that's why by using the secure container technology, okay, chain code secure chain code runtime environment is provided. Okay, and also it facilitate the uh, uh, security of the different registry module, okay, which is required for the runtime during the runtime services of the transaction. So this is the whole diagram, flow diagram of the transaction. So how transaction happen? So let us assume there is a client. So these clients want to do some want to participate in the blockchain network for performing any transaction. So what client do? Client use any Fabric SDK, either Go, either Node.js or the Java, okay, in order to write their transaction command, okay, proposal, and this transaction proposal first, along with the certificate authority of the client, is sent to the endorser node. Okay, so what endorser node do? Endorser node uh, just verify the certificate of the client, okay, and then add a read write permission, okay. So read write permission means which which part of transaction is allowed by the client for the reading purpose, and which part of the transaction can be modified by the client. Okay, so read write permission is attached to this transaction proposal, okay, and these state is also maintained in the word state database, okay, and they send back the transaction response to the client. Now once this client request is endorsed by the endorser node, this client is able to participate in the transaction, okay, can participate in the consensus algorithm, okay. So endorse response is sent to the ordering process. Now ordering process once get the endorse response, it send back this in the form of transaction block to all other committer node as well as the endorser node. And what is the objective of committer nodes? To performing uh, the consensus. So each committer node uh, execute the consensus algorithm, check the all the credential of the uh, client's transactions. Okay, once all the committer node verify it, validate it, then final commit is done by the orderer node. Okay, so one by one, I'm going to discuss the what is the different features of the element of the block Hyperledger Fabric element. So let me take water first. So there are mainly four components: client, peer, orderer, and membership service provider. So client is a simple application which act on behalf of any user. So I'm going to discuss this one. This is very important. Your peer. So your peer may have a different role. So mainly there are four roles can participate by the peer: endorsing peer, committing peer, anchor peer, and ordering peer. So the main responsibility of anchor peer is to perform the transaction among the organization. So suppose there is a one blockchain network of belong to the organization one, there is another blockchain network. So only the peer, anchor peer is allowed to perform the transaction. Just like you understand, this is the foreign minister of the this organization. So just like a foreign minister can talk to the another foreign minister of another country, in the same way, uh, anchor peer is only allowed to make a uh, communication with the another anchor peer of another organization if they want to perform some inter organizational transaction through the blockchain network. Okay, so what is the endorsing peer? Endorsing peer uh, uh, the main is the to endorse the request coming from the normal peer, okay, and uh, uh, attach a read write permission, okay, and uh, after endorsing peer can also participate in the consensus uh, process. Now what happened in the ordering peer? Ordering peer receive the endorsed transaction, okay, package them into the block, and this packaged block sent to the other peer for the validation, okay. So basically ordering peer activate the execution of consensus algorithm, okay, a consensus process, okay. Now once consensus is reached, it is hand over to the committing peer. So these peer need not to have uh, a chain code installation. Only they have a full record of the ledger, okay, and their main objective of committing peer is to perform the final commit over the ledger, okay, and this is known to the outside network. So there are three type of mechanism is used in order to perform the consensus in the Hyperledger Fabric. So you are developing your own application in a single machine. So in a single machine, since all the peers, you are creating a multiple peers within a single machine. So in order to execute the consensus, generally we are using the solo. Okay. So since consensus, all the consensus process executing within the system. Okay. So there is now another consensus mechanism is supported by the Hyperledger Fabric, that is the Kafka. So they are inspired by the Apache Kafka publish subscribe messaging mechanism. Okay. And this is a message based ordering mechanism in order to perform the consensus. Okay. Now the next one is the supported by the Fabric is the simplified Byzantine fault tolerance. So these are the some inbuilt ordering mechanism is available in the Hyperledger Fabric. But since Hyperledger Fabric is designed by using the pluggable technology, you can easily add your own ordering mechanism. Okay. So any organization can develop their own ordering mechanism. These are the inbuilt ordering mechanisms. Okay. So is there any query, participant? Some noise I am receiving. Yes.
Participants, will you please mute your mic, and if anybody having any doubt, you can ask.
So this is the flow diagram, how the transaction flow through the different modules of the Hyperledger Fabric. Here is there are two participants, they are not muted their mic, like Madhuri Thorat,
Yeah.
Ravindra Gare.
Yes, sir. I'm the one. Okay, Madhuri Thorat, I have muted. Okay.
Ravindra.
Yes, sir. It's me only.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's okay. Fine.
So any client application SDK write their transaction. Okay, first sending to the endorsing peer. Now this endorsing peer, what they do, they just execute the chain code, okay, to just verify the proposal. Okay, so with the smart contract, first we verify. So smart contract gives you the rule for performing the transaction. Okay, so there is some particular rules. If that rule is followed by the transaction, then only transaction is going to initiate the consensus. Okay, and after consensus they validate, and then after validation your transaction data is going to store in the form of block in the blockchain. Okay, so endorsing peer first activate the chain code, verify the proposal. Okay, once proposal meet the chain code rule, okay, then their state is stored into the word state, okay, database. Okay, and this endorsing peer make a read write set. So the purpose of read write set is to allow which part of transaction is going to for the read only, and which part of the system is going for the modification purpose. Okay, so who can perform the read, who can perform the write? These read write permission is allowed. Okay, so these are attached to the submitted proposal. Okay, so endorsing peer after verification of the certificate, after verification of the uh, transaction, it following the rule or not, this and adding the read write set send back to the application, and this copy is called the endorsed. Okay, verified by the endorsing peer. Just like analogy, suppose you are going to submit some application, okay, to your director, sir. So what you do first, you are going to verify first this application to your head of department. So your head of department just verifying all the entries, okay, and then make a sign. Okay, so the in the same way, okay, this is the uh, uh, signing authority. So once a endorsed transaction is received by the application as SDK, Fabric SDK, it is free to submit their transaction to the ordering node. Okay. Now, what happened in the ordering node? When ordering node receive, this is the ordering node. Okay. Now, what happened? This ordering node, when it received the transaction, okay, it form a block. Okay, and this block is distributed among all available ordering node. Okay, they distribute among the all ordering node. Okay, now after ordering node they distribute it, then these ordering node perform the consensus. So once all ordering node uh, meet a common agreement, once consensus is happened, then it is forwarded to the final committing peers. Okay, now what happened in the committing peers? Committing peers after the consensus they validate. Okay, again check the validation. So you know there are three steps of verification. One is the endorsing peers verify, then ordering here, then final commit. Okay, so once now here other job is also this committing peers also check the word state information, because there is must be a identical copy must be maintained, okay, within the word state and your final blockchain state. Okay, so it validate the endorsement policies. Okay, uh, why this, you may ask why this third layer is provided, because sometimes what happens, maybe uh, in order to reach the consensus, suppose you are using the probabilistic consensus. So suppose out of n, suppose k node are agree, so sometimes your system is allowed to agree. Okay, so in order to prevent if this participant may compromise some set of uh, 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 ordering node in order to perform the consensus. So in order to prevent the malicious, yeah, compromised uh, ordering node which participating in the consensus, again the third layer of uh, 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 committing peers is involved to verify the given submitted transaction follow the endorsement policy or not. It is having a valid read write options which is matched with the state DB of the word state is not. Okay, then finally they perform the commitment to the blockchain. Okay, So these are the whole flow diagram of uh, uh, Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so in order to maintain the word state, the two database is used, LabelDB and CouchDB. Okay, so what word state it reflects the current data about all asset in the network. Okay, so basically it is used for the global, just like in the global topology. If you want to see, similarly it gives you a global view of the transaction, because each peer is maintaining their own ledger. Okay, each peer is maintaining the ledger because your data is distributed among the peer. Okay, so this, through the word state, any peer can visualize, okay, what is the current state of the transaction. Okay, means a peer is having how many copy, and this copy is placed to how many peers. Okay, suppose if you want to check, suppose there is a transaction X block, so this block is placed to how many peers system. Okay, so this kind of visualization you can done through by accessing the word state database, and this is a very helpful and used by also the uh, smart contract as well as the consensus protocol. Okay, in order to meet the consensus, because each peer access the word state in order to initiate their own consensus. Now uh, chain code is nothing but a smart contract. Okay, but uh, uh, a smart contract is a part of chain code. Chain code encapsulate a smart contract, okay, within a package. Okay, so only a legitimate user can allow to access the smart contract. Not all participant of the network is allowed to access the logic of the smart contract. However, what happened in the Ethereum, all peer is having the same role. Okay, here, uh, in order to provide some confidential transaction, only a few peers is allowed to access the smart contract. Okay, so network is the part of your, it form a P2P network for performing the uh, data distributed data processing among the peers. Okay, uh, yes, this I have discussed it. So this is again of, I just want to discuss, uh, yes, the code. Yeah. So this is the ordering process. Yeah. After this, I'm going to discuss how to install the Fabric and how to do how to execute the code by using the Hyperledger Fabric. So uh, this is a transaction. Let's assume this is a client want to perform some transaction. So first, this client. So what happened? Sometimes we required endorsement from the multiple party. So what happens sometimes? Suppose this client compromise the endorsement peer. Okay. So in order to verify the transaction submitted by this client, okay, a multiple endorsing is supported by the blockchain, because maybe this client anyhow can compromise one endorsing. Okay, so what happened if any transaction, okay, issued by this client, this transaction is first sent to the multiple endorsing peer. Okay, like the endorsing peer 1, endorsing peer 2, endorsing peer 3. Okay, now once these endorsing peer receive, they verify and send back endorsed transaction. Means after verification of the credential, they are okay, of the client, they send. Okay, once endorsed credential is received by the client, okay, client send their endorsed transaction to the for the ordering services. Okay, and this ordering services is executed by the orderer node. Okay, so here is also a multiple orderer node is involved. Okay, and this endorse and they are responsible for executing the making a consensus. Once consensus is made, okay, they send back to the other peer, okay, for the validation. Okay, so here they verify what validation node do. Now, in order to perform the validation, validation can be done by the ordering node as well as the endorsing node. Okay, so they perform verifying the endorsement policy rule. Okay, read write permissions given to for the transactions, storage. Okay, so now once validation is done, okay, they send back their uh, 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 after validation, they send back to the committing peers. Okay, so the committing peer may also be the part of orderer node. Okay, so maybe a peer can be a orderer node, can be a committer node. So one of the committer node again verify and send back to this final commit to the network. So okay, committing peer, okay, perform the final commit within the ledger. So I'm going to discuss first how to install the Hyperledger Fabric, and then I'll try to discuss one example. So I'm going to discuss first how to install the Hyperledger Fabric over the Ubuntu 18.04. So before installing the Hyperledger Fabric, you have to install some prerequisite software. So first you have to install auxiliary software that is called the client URL. That is called also the curl. So curl is a software which facilitate the installation of any software package identified by the any URL. Okay, so this means client URL, that is called the client URL. So since Hyperledger Fabric using the container technology, okay, and this transportation of your software from one system to another system through the curl is very secure. Okay, so that's why first we have to install the curl. So suppose if you want to check the curl is installed in your system or not, so simply check curl -- version. If any version appear, it means curl software is available. If it is not available, then simply you have to write these set of command one by one. So sudo update. Then in order to install it, simply write sudo update install curl, and then check curl is installed or not by checking this curl version. Okay, once curl is installed, curl is used to install the some other software like the Docker and Docker Compose. So suppose Docker is available to this URL, and this is its key. Okay, so at this URL your Docker is available. So in order to install the Docker software, simply you use the curl command at your command prompt. Simply write the curl. These are the some options. So SSL layer security is used in order to extract and install the software -FSSL. Okay, once these are faced, simply add this to Docker repository to apt sources. Okay, and then again you have to execute the command for updating the uh, Docker packages by using the sudo update. Okay, and then you have to install the auxiliary packages that is called the Docker CE. Okay, uh, and then give the permission to the Docker for accommodating some packages. Okay, this is very required, very much required. Sometimes what happens, Docker is not installed properly, then it's not going to facilitate the smooth execution of Hyperledger Fabric. Okay, so this gives the permission for the providing the secure runtime environment and for facilitating the installation of other packages. Now, once Docker is installed, you have to check it is properly installed or not. Simply run this command over the command prompt, docker --" version and docker compose version. If version appear after execution of this, then it means it is successfully installed. Now after that, you have to install the Go language. Okay, so again we are using the curl command with option -o. This is the URL. At this URL, your Go package is available. Simply curl command download this. Then you need to extract the tar file. Okay, after extraction, okay, you have to check the Go is installed properly or not. Simply write the command Go version. If the version appear, it means your Go is software is programming language is successfully installed. Then you have to set a path for your Go compiler. Okay, bin and home. Okay, these you have to add in your environmental file. And then suppose you are going to use the JavaScript, okay, for writing the smart contract. So you have to install the node.js and the npm. Okay, so in order to install this, again you have to use the curl command with option this, and this is the URL of the your node.js. Okay, and then once it is downloaded, you have to run this script. This script you have to run over the bash shell. Okay, and then once it is executed, so this actually download some auxiliary dependency for installation of the node.js. Once it is installed, then you are going to install this update install node.js. Okay, and if you want to check node.js is successfully installed or not, simply in the command prompt you simply write the node -v and then npm v. Now some packages require the old version of Python 2.7 of the Fabric, and by default your Ubuntu come up with the Python 3. version 3.x. So you need to install the Python 2.7 by this command. Okay, and check the version. So Python 2.7 is successfully installed or not. Okay, so when these prerequisite packages are installed, now you are ready to install the Hyperledger Fabric. So again, there is a in the Hyperledger website there is a help installation help is given. So their URL is very large. So a short URL is provided by the Hyperledger source. Okay, so by using the curl command, simply you have to download it. Okay, and once you download it, there is a folder appear in your home that is called the fabric-samples. Okay, and you have to set the path of your Hyperledger Fabric sample binary bin file. Okay, now it is once it is appear, when you are ready to use the Hyperledger Fabric. So I'm going to just switch to the Linux. Yes, I have to. Yeah. So yes. So can you make this another my ID for sharing the PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This outside your organization.
Yes, sir. Can I share your PPT again?
No, no, you have to make other users, okay? Because this uh, there is a two name appear now. One is the yes. I want to share my screen, okay, through this one again. So can you meet me as a host for sharing the screen?
May I share your screen, sir, from your side?
No, no, actually I am using the two users, okay? One is through
Okay.
the Linux and other is the, so you see in the user, there is a Govind Gupta outside your organization,
Okay, okay.
this one. So you make it as a host.
Yes, sir. Uh, just a minute, sir. I'm making you. Yeah, I made you presenter. Now just
Yeah,
a
as a, yes, yes.
So now you are having two users, Dr. Govind Gupta and Govind Gupta.
Yeah, yeah. Yes,
It's working? Yes, sir.
yes, it's working.
Okay, we are able to see this line actually.
Yes. So once you installed at your home, okay, uh, there is a fabric sample folder by default. Uh, is this visible?
Yes, sir. It's visible.
Clear now?
Yes, sir. Pretty clear.
So in the home folder, once you install the Hyperledger Fabric, there is a folder appear fabric sample. So simply when you go to the fabric uh, sample, okay, so there is a bin file, you have to set the path, okay, then there is a chain code folder where a different smart contract code is available. Okay, you can also, if you want to add your own smart contract code, you can add here. Okay, I'm going to first discuss how to create network, okay, and how to add the channel, okay, within the peers, okay. So I'm going to, here is a one, in order to create a network, okay, among the different peers, okay, uh, auxiliary package is available that is called the test network. So I'm going to within the test network. Okay, so first before going to execute, you have to check is there any images running within the container or not. So in order, since our whole Hyperledger Fabric is executing within the Docker, so simply Docker and ps command. Okay, so it means there is a no image currently running within the Docker. Okay, so sometimes what happen within the same PC, okay, suppose some image is already running, and if you are going to execute some other, so sometimes uh, your Docker daemon process not going to recognized uh, because the same authority, same credentials is used to enter the different runtime environment. Okay. So in order to check, okay, uh, how to create a network within the test network, there is a script given that is network.sh. Okay, so first you have to make a live this network. So in order to do that, simply write /network.sh. This network.sh is a script file. So a little bit of shell programming you should know, okay, in order to write your own shell script. And simply there is a command up, means I'm going to execute up, I'm going to up the network, blockchain network. Okay, and this examples has created the two peers. Okay, and having the two so peer 0, okay, of organization 2 and peer 2 of organization 2. Yeah, yes. So I'm going to check the Docker status. So you see here in the Docker status, yes. So there are, uh, I have created the 3. Okay, let me down it once. So in order to shut down the network, simply there is a command down. Yes. So simply I'm making the network up. So before that, I'm going to check your Docker having no image. Actually, you are going to make up Fabric. So it is simply creating the two peers. Okay. So if you want, there is a two peer is created. If you see, and they are allocated to the different port number for, so there is a peer 0 organization 1 example.com. This is the one peer, this is the another peer. Okay, this is the orderer node, okay, which is responsible for executing the consensus. Okay, now I'm going to check what is our Docker status. So actually within the Docker status, the clear picture will appear. So there are 3 things is available here, the 2 peers and 1 orderer. Okay, so if you want to check the channel list, okay, of this network, so simple, there is a command docker execute. I'm using, suppose, checking the peer, this one, to simply copy this and example.com, then peer channel list. So by this, uh, a channel has joined these two peers. So basically, the main purpose of this is to make a connection between the peer, this peer and this peer. Okay. So a channels means with this command, you have to check is there channel exist between peers or not. So since if channel is exist, then the definition of channel is associated with the peer. So similarly, suppose if you want to check is there channel exist with this peer or not, simply use the same command with different by the org2. Yes, so it means both channel is connected to a particular channel. Okay. Now suppose you want to add a word state database to the peer. because each peer needs to maintain the ledger, its own block within the ledger, okay, and also maintain the state. So if you want to add the word state or database, okay, so actually we initially we add the database, okay, at the when we are upping the network. So simply we are just downing the this network, okay, down it. So I'm having how much time? Yes.
Yes, sir. You can take 5-10 minutes more.
Okay. Okay. So network of CouchDB. CouchDB. Okay. So we are attaching to each peer the CouchDB database. Okay. Copy. 1 minute. So you see by default the two CouchDB image is created, CouchDB 0 and CouchDB 1 for each. So if you want to check the status of the Docker, because Docker gives the correct status, okay. So you see the two peer image is created, okay, the one orderer and the two couch. One is the couch DB0 for the peer 0, okay, of organization 1, other is the couch DB1, okay, and there is the orderer. So total 5 images are available in the running within the Docker, okay. Suppose you want to add some certificate authority, okay. So again there is a command, okay. So simply one by one I'm going to check, give you the insight. If you want to add the CouchDB certificate authority, if you want to install the chain code to the each peer, okay, so that all can be done through a whole script. So a part of a script one by one I'm going to execute and give you the insight what how the process is going on. So whenever the any uh, 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 peers is created, okay, they have provided the TCL credential, which port number they are going to use for the making a connection, okay, what is the IP address, okay, how the it is a TCP or UDP, okay, uh, that sort of things, okay. So if you see the whole thing here, uh, uh, yes, like here. So here in our system, CryptoGen tool is used for issuing the certificate authority. Okay, certificate. So first, a certificate is issued to the each peer through provided by the CryptoGen tool. Okay, once certificate is issued, then CryptoGen create a certificate, gives the name to the peer. Okay, similarly for the second organization, generate the certificate. Now, orderer node is created. Again, it is having its own certificate. So through the CryptoGen, one certificate is issued. Then the Genesis ordering Genesis block is created. Okay. So Genesis block is once created. Then since I am going to attach the CouchDB, so CouchDB for both peers is uh, uh, attached. Okay, and it is attached to the peer. And then suppose if you want to attach the certificate, a separate certificate authority, simply yes. So if you want to add uh, certificate authority, simply use the CA command. So for both peer, uh, certificate authority CA for ORG1 and CA for ORG2, and also for the orderer node. So 3 CA is created. So you can check the images running within the Docker. So there are one peer, another peer. This is the orderer node. This is the certificate authority for the peer 1. This is peer 2, and for the orderer. Okay. Suppose if you want to check how to make a channel, create a channel. Okay. So if you want to create a new channel within the 2 peer. Okay. So how to do it? Simply down it, make it down. So during the runtime, we can't add a new channel. Okay. So for that, you have to write the script. So you should know sound knowledge of the shell scripting. Okay. So why I'm not adding runtime sometimes, since I'm running the whole peers within a same system, sometimes Docker gives the error. Okay. So it confused. Okay. So if you are using the distributed system, then you can runtime, you can add the channel. Okay. And within a system, it's very difficult to sort out the error. So simply write the network up and then create channel. Okay, there is a option we require -c and channel name. So let's assume the channel name is the new channel. Okay, I think there is some up. Okay, so there is no need to. So in the create channel, C must be the capital. So a new channel, you see, a new channel is created. Okay, the name of channel is the new channel. Okay. So Docker PS. Okay, if you want to check the status of our channel, okay, channel list. So simply write the Docker exe command. Okay. Okay. Then channel list. Here channel list. Yes. So a new channel is added within these 2 periods. Okay. So similarly, if suppose if you want to deploy the the chain code. So the command is simply, first you make a down. So by default, chain code is the basic chain code which is available. I'll show you the chain code. So say fabric sample. So there is a folder chain code, okay, and where a multiple example is given. Okay, like ABAC, App Store, Fabcar. Okay, so Fabcar application is also available here. Some other basic asset transfer basics chain smart contract code is given if in order to test your application. So if you want to deploy your chain code, simply network yes, simply use this and deploy CC. So the by default chain code is the your this asset transfer basic. So sometimes there are many dependency happen. Okay, you have to resolve. Okay, so here is the yes. So there is image is available. Image is not created. Yes. So you have to make it down. So another example here in the Fabcar. Yes. So this example is available in the in build Fabcar. So this example is, suppose if any car owner want to give the rent out its car to other one. Okay, so in order to rent out the car, okay, so how to rent out using the blockchain? So suppose you are borrowing it for the few hours, okay, and you are giving some incentive to the car owner, so that on that theme this Fabcar example was built. So how I'm going to show you the whole package, how the network is up. Simply run it. This script, simply you have to run it. Yes. So you see the smart contract, yeah, chain code is written in all three languages: Go, Java, JavaScript. So I'm going to show you the smart contract written in the Go, that is the Fabcar Go. So simply gedit yes. So how to write the smart contract via chain code in Hyperledger Fabric? So in this application, this is the common. Okay, you have to include it. If you are going to write chain code, a smart contract in the Go language. Okay, so this package, just like in the Java, in the C include stdio.h you are writing, the same way you have to import some packages and the main. Now, this is the main function of your Go program. Okay, and uh, uh, different functionality you have to write. So there are some inbuilt function is available. Okay, that must be the part of your system. Okay, so one of them is the this main function. So whatever the transaction you are going to perform, you have to perform through the wallet credentials. So if you see, there is a wallet folder is also. So once successfully your network is deployed, a wallet folder is created to each peer, and within this wallet, your system is keeping the all the certificate authority. Okay. So initially, what happened? You have your system main function. Uh, uh, Check is there error in the wallet accessing the wallet or not. If it is successfully verify the content of wallet, okay, then there is a no error. If there is a error, then simply exit it. Okay. Now, if valid wallet is uh, associated with the users, okay, then only your system is allowed to perform the uh, 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 execution of the smart contract. Okay, so these are the initial is simply checking. They are checking. Okay, uh, gateway is connected or not. Okay, you are the part of the network is not. Okay, which channel? How many channels? So initially, the by default, the channel name is the my channel. Okay, so which channels the peers is attached. Okay, what is the now the real story start from here. Okay, so your name of a smart contract is a 5 car. Clear? Now you have whenever suppose you are creating a transaction here. What is a transaction? Suppose you are creating your own car. Suppose you are the owner, and if you want to participate in the transaction, means you want to rent out your own car. Okay, so what you are doing first? First, you are putting the all the property of your car. What is the car model? Okay, this is the given the Polo. What is the color of the car? Okay, and some other features. So these information you have to put during the creation of the car object. Okay, and what you are doing, you are going to submit it. So with help of the contract object, you are submitting your transaction. Okay, once you are submitting, then your this is validated. So your smart contract give you the orderer node. Okay, so once endorsing uh, policy, verify your registration and then allow this transaction, okay, to include into the existing database. Okay, so this process evaluate the transaction, okay, for the issuing the query. Okay, similarly, in order to make a smart contract, simply small instruction you have to write for writing the query, for creating the transaction, for modifying the content of the transaction. Just like here, uh, they are issuing a query, and they query about a particular car with a key car 10. Okay, similarly they here they want to change the owner of the car. So simple, the query name is transaction is different. Okay, so in this way you have to write your own smart contract, okay, for a particular application. So that's all for this talk. Okay, if you have any query, then you can ask. uh, Participant, you have any query, then
Yes, Deepal ma'am. Any query you can ask. Hello,
yes.
Deepali Shah ma'am. You want to ask a question? Participants, any questions?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so this is Sheetal here. Sir, I would like to know how Hyperledger Fabric can help in verification of a document.
Next session.
Hello.
Verification of documents. So there are various. First, you have to identify the peers. So the here peer is the your maybe student, maybe some outside other organization. Okay, your head of department, your student section member. So first you have to identify the peers. Okay, and what are their role. So sometimes in the university, the students a separate student section within the university, they verify the uh, uh, mark sheet, okay, yeah, certificate of the users. So in order to do that, there are different kind of query. Initial query is deployment of your certificate. Once uh, uh, certificate is certificate verification request is submitted by the student itself. Okay, so student is a peer. First, it create a, a request to the network. These are my certificate. Okay, and please verify. Now, once orderer node receive this, it send these query to the legitimate peer. Who are the legitimate peers? Their universities peer who are responsible to verify. Okay, once it is verified, then final verified information in the form of transaction is committed to the blockchain. Okay,
Okay, sir.
now okay, now suppose there is a students going to overseas for the job in the suppose in Gulf country or some other country, and these countries suppose want to verify the certificate. Then what they do, students simply give their credential, okay, for accessing the uh, blockchain network. Okay, now with organization credential as well as the student's credential, and both must be the part of system. Then your system should allow, okay, and verify with the existing uh, uh, committed ledger. Okay, so there may be, it depend upon your logic. Okay, so they after there are various phases. One is the deployment phase, okay, and another is the query phase. So query may be of different kind. Okay, it totally depend upon your idea how you are
Logic.
going to realize. Yeah, but it's a very good idea.
Sir,
Right. Hmm.
yeah,
Yes.
but whether the students' certificates will be stored in the blockchain in the form of image or how it is being done?
Yes.
Hyperledger
So since
Fabric.
yes, so since uh, your blockchain is managed by the P2P network. Okay, it is not a centralized network. Okay, so some your certificate, verified certificate, is stored in the your institute premises, because your institute is also a peer. Okay, students
Yes.
is also a peer. It also having its own verified copy. Okay, and employer is also a peer which is also maintaining the verified copy of your certificate. Okay, so
Okay.
every participating peer of a common transaction are going to maintain the ledger. That's why we are talking about the distributed ledger technology. Your ledger is nothing but the here is the certificate. Okay, so your certificate is distributed among, okay, among the different participating peers. Okay, and if all are agreed, okay, then this uh, digitally you can verify the certificate.
Certificate. Okay. My question is only hash of the document is being stored on blockchain network or entire document is being stored. That is certificate. Suppose 10th marks card. Only
Yeah.
hash of that particular thing is stored in blockchain network or in the form of images or kind of anything PDF or any kind of document is being stored in Hyperledger blockchain network to access among peers?
Actually,
How it
has
is being stored?
yes, no, uh, actually, if you want to make lightweight application, then you can share only the hash, because with the help of hash, you can verify the integrity of the document. Okay, so let us assume hash is shared by the student to the employer. So this is the hash of my the certificate. Okay, and that hash is shared by the employer to the university. Now the university can match the hash of the issued certificate to the student with the request coming from the employer. So that is also a good idea. Okay, rather than transporting the data, we have used the hash. Okay, because each unique document is having a unique hash value. So
Okay.
it totally depend upon
Yes.
the programmer's logic. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Sir, when I was
Thank you, sir.
installing Hyperledger Fabric, I have last question to ask. I had
Yeah.
error with CryptoGen tool because of I'm using only 4 GB RAM system. So is it necessary to have 8 GB RAM system for Hyperledger Fabric?
Yeah, yeah, at least 8 GB. My system is having 128 GB RAM, but it's still sometimes
Okay.
it take 2 to 3 hours for the transaction. 128 GB RAM workstation I'm running. Okay, but it's still for the very
There is
complex transaction, it takes
okay.
1 to 2 hours in a distributed mode, not in a centralized mode. So
Okay.
at least in a single PC, you should have a 8 GB RAM.
Okay. Minimum requirement. Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you
definitely
so
8
much.
GB.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for
Okay.
your such a nice presentation, and you're presented in such a simple manner. Also, I hope all the participants have enjoyed the session with your practical demonstration. Thanks a lot, sir. Once again,
Thank, thank you very much. Thanks all participants for joining and attending
Thank
my
you, sir.
lecture.
Thank you,
yeah,
sir.
and all participants are requested to rejoin the session next session at 2:25.